Hey YouTubers, good morning, Rob Moffat. Guys, today we're going to talk about what I did yesterday. I spent over 4 hours watching 7 videos by a channel called Joe and Nick's Road Travels. They went all over the USA in 7 series, every single state. I wasn't going to watch the entire series. I was just going to check out one. And I usually when I watch videos, I speed them up. I didn't speed this up at all. It was, as time went by, it became very interesting and enjoyable, and I watched all of them to the very end, every single state, and I thought it was worth talking about. Joe has been making YouTube videos for over 10 years, but about 3 years ago he started doing road trip videos of all the different states, and he started getting some, after about 11 months, he said he was getting ready to give up. He and his wife started getting a lot of views, so he's been continuing, and now he does a lot of videos of some old parts of the country and some of the rundown cities. So it's almost a never-ending supply of video material because the U.S. has a lot of bad areas. But the cool thing about the 7 video series is that he went to every single state, and when he went to each state, they did the same thing, him and his wife Nicole, and they went to the state house in the capital city and they got their state passport stamped, and did that in every single capital building, even Alaska and Hawaii. And half of the video are these like 5 things. 1, going to the state house. 2, getting their passport stamp. 3, looking at statues of Lincoln or Washington or Lewis and Clark or plaques about Martin Luther King, or having drinks or meals. That takes up like 60%, 70% of the videos. The rest of it is you're going to each of these little different towns, not just the capitals, and you're seeing what the country looks like state by state, region by region, and you get little tiny snapshots of different states within this time frame of 4 hours. You've traveled the entire nation in just a few hours. It's interesting to see. You can tell a lot because this is the magic of the video series, is they did the same thing in every single state. So you got a comparison. And it was cool because you could pick up little different things, like how some Capitol buildings and stuff would be New England, New Hampshire, Vermont. Their Capitol buildings were extremely sparse, kind of utilitarian, kind of small and attractive, but they were not grandiose. They were very frugal, earnest, down-to-earth, practical buildings. You go to Louisiana, the tallest freaking state house in the whole country. Also, one of the most corrupt states over the years in the whole country. And I'm from Florida, which is the corrupt sun state that the other states circle around. So when it comes to corruption in states, I can talk about Florida. Because you go to our state house, when we went to Tallahassee in Florida, not only could you not go inside to see the rotunda of the original state house, the original state house for some reason became decrepit and old, and they had to build a new one. And they threatened to move the Capitol to Orlando, or I think Orlando, if they didn't build a new one. So somehow they had to leave the old building there instead of fix it up or maintain it in the first place and build a new one, which doesn't even look like a state house. It looks like an insurance building. There is no rotunda. It's just an office building. So like you got 2 buildings right next to each other. One of them could have been built the right way or maintained, but no, now you had to build a second one. And if you don't, we're going to go to another city. That's how Florida is. So when I say Louisiana is corrupt, that's just nothing compared to Florida. So you get to see different little things. Also, like, how did the people react when they went to get their thing stamped? Like, maybe the lady was having a bad day, but when they were in California, they were asking to get their things stamped, and the lady said, "Okay, this is it. Okay, have a good day." Like she was like really annoyed. Maybe she was having a bad day. That's a bad thing about digital experience, because they're captured forever, like a little fly in amber during the ice or the dinosaur age. It's there forever. So maybe that lady was just having a really terrible time, and forever she's that person that was kind of really, really annoyed at people asking her to do her job. Or they went to the Midwest, they got the book out, and they're explaining, oh, you can do this, you can do that. And when they stamp, oh, have this piece of paper, you can put it and blot up the ink, because when you fold it, maybe it'll smear or whatever. So, of course, the Midwest, they're so nice. But what's the bad thing about the Midwest is when you do get someone who's normal and who's an asshole, you're so shocked, where if you were in New York, you wouldn't even notice it. So, like, that's the bad thing about the Midwestern people. Sometimes you get someone who's just a regular person and and tells you something, and you're not happy, and you're thinking, wow, it's really big shock to you. So you get to see the character of the nation and the people and the regions, and it was fun because they did the same thing in every single state. And you also got to see the Capitol buildings and got an idea of the people in the state and so on. The rotundas, when you went into the state, that was one of the main things they did in each state. When they went to Capitol building, they would look up at the rotundas, and some of them were extraordinary. They were magnificent. They would be hard to imagine one that could be built more perfect. It was just really, really surprising how beautiful some of these places were, and nobody ever thinks about them. So it was interesting in that respect. They did the same thing in each state. And now when they went to each state, they didn't always go to the capital. I mean, they always went to the capital, but sometimes they went to other cities. Often they did. But you just be there for just a quick period of time, because he was taking snippets of videos that he had already traveled to these other states. And the thing about the narration is Joe doesn't have he's very dry, his narration. It's not like Bald and Bankrupt, where he's very gregarious and he's very emotional, and you get a lot of drama, where Joe is like reading a cereal box. Well, we're in West Topeka, population 27,000, the median income. It's like he's reading the encyclopedia, but at the same time, he doesn't have it. Everybody has a bias and agenda, but it doesn't come across. He's not like pushing anything. It's just like what you see is what you get. It's like an umpire at a baseball game. He just calls it like he sees it. And let's face it, if you're in a beautiful part of town, you look at your eyes and your ears, you can hear things and see things, and you can tell by just what's being shown with the video recording what you're looking at. You don't, if you're in a really crazy bad part of town that a lot of parts of America have become, where it looks like all the buildings are made out of cardboard and it's been raining for 40 years, where the people are standing on the corner bent over with their heads between their legs speaking gibberish to you, or you see people going down the street sideways walking like a crab, and they're like going to get their drugs. This is not a good place. You don't have to say anything. You can just let everything explain itself by just looking at it. But it was good to see the different parts of the country, state after state after state, and just make up your own mind and not have somebody tell you what you should think. It was I don't think that Joe and Nick are going to get any awards for their videography, but it does the job, and he makes the videos good for the viewer. I'm not saying he's lazy like I am on my videos. He does a good job, but that's another appeal. he's not so flashy where the videography is getting in front of the story. You don't want the filmmaking to become part of the film. You don't want the video production to become part of the video. You just want to see. It's like you're documenting for a court case what happened in a day of life person. You're not adding special effects. You're seeing this is what you get. So in that respect, it was really good. I was happy that he did give an opinion of those states that or towns that he thought were some of the best that he went to, and some of them were surprising to me. One of the biggest surprises was how nice Wilmington, North Carolina looked. That was one of his top 10 cities. And as a seaside town, it's so hard to find seaside towns that don't cost like $1 million to live. And it looked like a really interesting town. Also, one of the biggest surprises of the whole video series was Pittsburgh. I grew up, Pittsburgh was the pits. It was because of the pollution. The steel industry was there, and all these heavy industries were there. And you would just read stories about that part of the country where the river would catch on fire, the Cuyahoga, or I guess that's Ohio. But Pittsburgh was just not given any thought except to think that it was a really dirty, grimy steel mill type of place. And he went up in some hills looking down at the city where the river comes through at that bend, and it looked like one of the most, and this, by the way, this was a very dark, dreary, overcast, rainy day, and the city looked beautiful. I was really surprised, and it would be a place I would actually go visit. The chemistry between Joe and Nicole. Joe's in his 50s, Nicole's in her 40s. Nicole's a very, very attractive woman. Joe is a handsome fella, but they're not really super photogenic. They're just regular people. They're not really regular people, because nowadays half of America is obese. So these are very attractive people, but they're not movie stars or nothing. They're just average people out there making videos, and that's another kind of attraction, I think, to their videos, is they're just like us, but the chemistry between the two. If you want to find out a lot about someone who's going on a road trip with them, and Lordy, they're married, but also they've been traveling to 50 freaking states, and not just traveling. They're doing a job. They're making videos, and when you have to do something and then actually film it and record it, it's a whole different world. It's you add a lot of complexity to everything when you're having to video and record everything, and they're out there, and their chemistry between them, it seems. At some points, I was getting early on in the videos where I didn't really know them that well from watch. I don't know them at all. I don't know them from a hill of beans, but after watching for hours, you kind of get an idea. When I first started, there was like this strangeness between the two, and I felt that Joe was very, very cold and aloof and distant, and Nicole was like, it didn't seem like a normal relationship, and I was getting kind of worried. And they went up into the Grand Canyon, and Nicole was wanting to go get a view right at the edge of this ledge, looking down like 2 miles to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Maybe not 2 miles, but very far drop. Wile E. Coyote. And she's got on these hiking boots that don't look very, maybe good for hiking on flat surface, but she's climbing over these rocks and divots and getting close to this edge, and she's moving around, and he kept saying something about being careful, and she said, "You keep saying that like you want me to fall off, and you keep saying that like you want me to fall off." And you can see
bet there's some spectacular views from there. What do you think? Slowly but surely, we're getting over there.
Some stuff.
Yeah, he's 1 foot too far. Over the edge you go.
You keep saying that. Are you trying to push me or something?
No, just
Why do you keep bringing it up?
I just want you to be careful and be aware.
Oh, I think you're thinking about pushing me.
All right, we are here.
You got down here with a baby on your back. Wow.
Isn't that spectacular?
It is. It's beautiful. Now, what's this one called? What's this?
This is called come out here at your own risk point.
I don't like that name.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I didn't do that one. No.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's been over there taking pictures, so I kind of. It's probably fine. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I'm just not sure how big.
pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Bo has finally made the trek.
Oh, you better stop
There's
it,
some-
because I'm doing better than you are in that regard.
Some daredevil lady there going to the very edge. And trust me, it is the edge.
Okay, if I go to the edge, will you take a picture of me?
Yeah?
All right, well, I'm going to wait for this woman to do it first. She can do it. I can.
Okay. Nicole has decided she wants to do the daredevil shot.
Is that it at the end?
Well, tell me when you're in position and I'll take the picture.
Is this the highest point?
Yes. Is that where you want your picture? All right, hold on. Let me get the camera.
Down in the distance, and I started getting like goosebumps, like she's gonna fall off the freaking ledge into the Grand Canyon. You want me to fall, don't you? You want me to fall? It was spooky as crap. But then as I watched the videos, and it was just one of those things. It was I thought it was at first, it was like we're going in a different place with this video, but it was yeah, it was kind of spooky. I was getting kind of worried. Also, really heights, I can get vertigo from watching a video. But you don't have Nicole as a main character in the video. She doesn't get to say a lot, so you don't get her character developed very much in the videos, and you just hear her like they went to the Cadillac ranch and they have the Cadillacs buried in the ground, and she wanted to get some spray paint, and they end up getting 2 cans, and now you hear her saying, "You were getting all upset because I got 2 cans." And I could just in my mind hear off camera the argument they had over buying 2 cans of spray paint instead of 1. And when you go on a long road trip, it puts a lot of pressure on people. They also say if you want to travel fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to travel far, you go with somebody else, because having somebody else on your trips is good, because you get to support each other. Even though some days you might be arguing over a can of spray paint and how many to buy, when you go on a long trip, there's going to be days when you don't feel like doing it anymore, and the other person is going to help you get over that hump and continue on the journey. It was a fun, I wouldn't say it was enjoyable 4 hours, which is extremely long time, but I was actually kind of sad that it was over. I wish they would have went on some more, but you only had 50 states. You could have done territories, Guam and Puerto Rico, I guess. But it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch, and it was not your ordinary travel log or travel video. But like I said, the cool thing about it was they did the same thing in every single state. So because they did that, you got to see how everything else was different, and because this part was the same no matter where they went. So what was happening? It was enjoyable in that respect. And yeah, I think I would check out Wilmington and Pittsburgh and some of the other places they went to. It was pretty cool. So yeah, check out Joe and Nick's road trip channel. He's doing pretty good. He's got a lot of views now, a lot of subscribers. But it's still worth watching his series, I think. And be careful on the Grand Canyon. All right, guys, this was. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. See you out there.